So hi everyone, once again, thank you for joining today. Welcome to my quick Dance for Confidence information session hosted by GODANCE. I am Simone Momple, and I'm very excited to have you here just to talk about what movement wellness really is and how we as a company at GODANCE implement it in different institutions. And of course, I also need to talk about the importance of movement. I know it's such a big, hot topic at the moment. Everyone is very excited about movement and learning how much more beneficial it is to their own lives as well as their lineage. So very interesting, a lot of research coming up about that. Today, I want to focus on what we do and tap into a little bit of research. So I'm going to play this video. I really hope it does play. If not, Max is going to drop the link in our chat, and you're welcome to just save that and watch it when convenient.
When we move, a lot of different things happen with ourselves within our bodies. And a lot of times people are quite afraid to move, or they don't want to move. They're scared of something. I am Simone Momple, and I am the director and founder of GODANCE. GODANCE is a dance wellness company that focuses on using dance or movement as a tool for self-expression. What we do at GODANCE is we offer dance workshops and dance wellness programs where we allow people to have the space, a comfortable space, to explore themselves through dance and movement. At our dance workshops, you are offered a fun and safe space for you to explore yourself through dance. What we do is we give you the space to find your groove, find out the way that you naturally move, and then we teach a piece of choreography, and you get to put that choreography on top of the way that you naturally move. When you're dancing and moving, all of that is coming from you, and you also get to do that with a fun group of people, and you will definitely walk out of there feeling like you've gained something for yourself. Our dance wellness program is called Moving Through Dance. Moving Through Dance is a specialized dance program that has been developed through using research in dance and psychology. Moving Through Dance focuses on building confidence, self-esteem, and improving overall wellness. Now, this is a 7-session dance program, and in those 7 sessions, we focus on different aspects of dance to allow different psychological processes to happen within the person so that they can explore and experience different parts of themselves. We do dance fitness, dance choreography, we do movement of different body parts where you get to experience how to dance just with your head and shoulders, for example. You can come and not know anything about dance and never ever have danced in your life before, and you will walk out of there feeling maybe confident, maybe your self-esteem has been improved, or maybe there's just things that have come to your consciousness that you realize I actually haven't dealt with. Now, I know you want to know more about what we do and what we have done at GODANCE, but there's only so much we can say with words. We are a dance movement company after all. Please go and check us out on all our social media platforms. GODANCE TM. We are on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. You can also contact us on simonemomple@godance.co.za. Thank you.
Okay, so that should give you some insights into what the company is and how far we've come. We just kind of want people to have a space where they can feel free and express themselves through dance and movement. And we advocate for everyone can dance and dance is for everyone. But I always like to ask this question. If I had to ask you to dance for me, what would your immediate bodily response be? And you can just drop it in the chat just to give me like a 1 word or a short sentence of what would you feel physically if I had to ask you to dance for me. And I know that a lot of people feel many different things, but this all just kind of links to how the mind and body connection is so important, because when I ask you this question of dance for me, you might feel scared, you might feel happy, excited, you might feel nervous, or anything else on the spectrum. So I'm interested to hear from you what you think. So frozen and awkward is what Chloe says. Absolutely. Many people do experience this. And this is why I feel that dance is something that really reveals quite a lot about people. And the fact that you feel something physical or your body's reacting to either say run away or stay, or it's telling you what you should be doing and how you should be doing it. There's a very interesting connection that I kind of wanted to study, and that's where I did my research. I'm going to talk a bit more about that. So that was just sort of to test you a little bit and see where dance actually sits in the body. And then just to give you again once a background, as mentioned in the video, GODANCE is a movement wellness company focusing on improving holistic wellness using dance. Now, we've taken a long time over the past few years to kind of come to an understanding of what this company really is and what we want to do and make it accessible for everyone as well. And so my research helped to build this company. I use a lot of what I have studied in exploring movement from scientific and psychological perspective to build into the offerings that we have, which is movement workshops and a wellness program, which I'm going to talk about more. Now, we say we are open to all fitness and dance levels. It doesn't matter which area you've come from in terms of fitness or dance. We open the space up to everybody, as once again, I believe everybody can dance and everyone can move. And just to give you an idea of who I am, so just within the company space, this is even after I've started the company. And just to give you an idea of what I have done over the past few years in the company, I've done 5 moving through dance programs, which was what I built in for my research. And that at the time was 7 sessions that we did. I've done UWC orientation where I danced with 3,000 students at orientation. It was quite an amazing job. And we also have a video on YouTube under my name, Simone Momplay. You can go check out how I actually happened to do that. Then I've also presented at a conference called Sakti, both in all in 2018, 2019, and last year. And for 2018 and 2019, I always got the 2nd place for best presentation. And last year I got the prize for the best conceptual paper. And this was absolutely amazing as I was coming in as a private entity in my company. And here we have all of the health professionals coming from all over South Africa, from the different universities. And that's where I presented on my work on movement wellness. I also do movement wellness workshops with the health professionals there to give them kind of a break and just to release all of the tension that they've built up over the year. And that's also a nice experience. We also do dance workshops continuously. I said from 2016 up until 2023, but it's also this year as well. And then we've also done arts orientation where I danced with the 1st-year students, and that was at the stadium at UWC. That video is also on its way out. And that was about 300 students. I also incorporate leadership training into the work that I do. So I find ways how we can link a concept of leadership and teach leadership through movement wellness as well. We work with schools and corporate wellness teams, team building. Example, Amazon I did as well a year or 2 ago. And school, I work with grade 4 learners as well. And they also just depending on what it is that the school or the team needs, we build into the movement wellness workshops that we do. So just to kind of tap into how important the mind-body connection is, as I've asked you a little bit earlier, and for those who just joined, I asked the question, if I had to ask you to dance for me, how would it feel in your body and what would you feel? And this links to the mind-body connection, which is the relationship between your state of cognitive and emotional processing and the state of one's physical activation. So now we focus on movement, and we focus on movement for wellness. And this refers to any additional movement that one adds to their lives to benefit their mental, emotional, physical state. And so, as you can see, we believe that our mind and body is connected. And we bring that into the space of workshops and our program, where we say that any movement that you do, whether it is waving at someone, nodding your head, or shaking your head to say no, whether it's walking, whether it's yoga, whether it's dancing, whether it's running, any form of movement is beneficial to you in your mental, emotional, and physical state. I mean, if we were not moving, we wouldn't be alive. So all of the movements that you do every day can be also incorporated into a dance, but it is all important to give you the benefits that you need for an optimal life, like for your holistic wellness. So now we believe also that dance is a catharsis. It's a form of expression as well. But the catharsis is very important because it gives you this release of tension. It's a way that you can communicate that you don't need to talk. And because got this non-verbal element to it, it means that you can express yourself a lot more. So I want you to kind of link these three concepts: dance as catharsis, a form of expression, and a non-verbal element. These three kind of speak to each other and they overlap, but I find specifically only with dance. Because when I ask you to dance for me, and once you get over the discomfort that you might feel physically, you will start expressing yourself in a way that you cannot almost express yourself in any other way, because you don't have to tell me how you are feeling. If you start dancing and it's your favorite song, I will see that there's a beautiful space that you are just entering and you are expressing yourself, but you're also having this moment of catharsis and you letting go of the tensions and the awkwardness that you might have felt. So I don't want to get into deep about it because I'm getting excited as I'm talking about it. I love the concept that I'm talking about here. But let me just kind of move on from here. Here is the title of my research, where I focused on the self-concept. The three elements of the self-concept I looked at was your self-esteem, your self-image, and your ideal self. So that's your future self. How do you see yourself in the future? And do you feel that that person that you see in the future is attainable? And so I worked with a group of peer mentors who were participating in the structured dance program, which was a 7-session program. So I'm not going to go into too much detail here because you're welcome to go and find my research and thesis online. If you just Googled my name and maybe some of the title, you'll find my thesis and you're welcome to browse through it. But just to give you a quick idea of what I found, because I did a mixed methods research, I found qualitatively, this is supposed to say quantitatively, that there was a significant difference there was an increase in the participants' self-esteem after participating in the structured dance program. So for those who can understand what these equations kind of mean, then you'll see how significant the post-test was a score higher than the pre-test scores. And basically what I used here was a self-esteem scale, which is called the Rosenberg self-esteem scale. And here we can test how people feel about themselves, more so their worth. How worthy do they feel about themselves? And this just showed that after the dance program, they felt more worthy of being who they were. And the qualitative results complemented this, right? So it said that the overall self-concept of participants was significantly influenced after participating in this dance program. Now, I find that to be super interesting because there are so many things that could have happened in that time and space where they might have had other issues going on in their lives. I think we also did it over exam period, so there was a lot going on with them. But the fact that the overall self-concept was still influenced was quite a significant finding for me. And I also found that they learned more about their beliefs that they had about themselves, as well as the qualities. So this means that they found themselves to be more worthy of living in this world. I mean, the slogan that we have at GODANCE is "Be you in a world of them." And this kind of speaks about how important you are to the larger world and universe, if you may. And it's very easy, especially for students, to feel like they do not belong in this world. And when they enter university, there's a lot going on around them that they might lose themselves. And we know that there's a high mental health stats that are showing that there are big issues with students at the moment. I mean, it has built over the years, especially with the growth of technology. And we kind of see that happening. We don't want people to, or these students, to lose themselves in the system. And we want them to believe that they have something to share with the world. So I feel like the self-esteem and confidence issues are where we need to target them so that they can feel once again worthy of being who they are, just as they are. And they don't have to change anything, but just to nurture themselves in that space. So important also, their self-image was influenced. And this means that even though they didn't physically change over that 7 weeks, but they might have had issues with their body before the time. After this dance sessions, they felt that they could just be who they were and they didn't have to look at themselves maybe in disgust or feel negative about any part of their body as well. And the ideal self is something I found very interesting. So sometimes we don't think about the person that we actually want to be. And this ideal self can change over your life. You might see yourself differently than you did 5 years ago, but your future self will always be a future self. But how attainable is it? Some of them realize I was actually thinking about somebody else instead of myself as my future self. And so they could actually realize, okay, let me rework this idea that I have of my future self. One, to make it more realistic to me. And secondly, to actually feel like I can draw closer to this person in the future. So just to explain what Dance4Me does for people, I realized after working for years in this dance space that I didn't want to ask people the question anymore to dance for me, as it seemed to be quite a threatening term. As you realize, when I ask you the question, dance for me, it's going to feel really, really awkward, and all those other things that you mentioned, nervous and frozen. And so we realized that we didn't want people to feel threatened before we walked into a space, before we created the space to make them feel safe enough to move. So we decided to go with the term of movement wellness. And that's when we changed from a dance company to a movement wellness company. And I did explain a little bit about what movement wellness is. It's absolutely any movement that will help you with your mental, emotional, and physical state, improve this and make you feel a lot better. And then the release of endorphins and helping relieve stress, which is basically tapping into the catharsis, are only some of the benefits that you get. Now, I'm going to play another video. Actually, I'm not going to play this video. I'm going to ask Max to drop this link in the chat. If you can just right click and save that link and watch it after this. So this will give you an insight into what students actually experience when they attend our movement wellness workshops. So just to give you a brief idea, at Stellenbosch University in 2023, I did 3 workshops with the students as well. It was 90 minutes each. And with these workshops, the students that I worked with, they were medical students at the Tygerberg campus. And these students have a very tight and very heavy schedule that they're working with. And they have a lot of pressures that they need to face. And when they are going into those spaces where they feel that pressure, then they have to kind of learn in the job, on the space, how to manage those discomforts that they might feel. In the same way you ask Dance4Me, if they go into spaces where someone asks them to tell them how to, honestly, I don't know what they would ask, but it's all these medical terms and they might know what they are. They might know the theory of what they're talking about, but when they say actually approached in person by a health professional, they often freeze up. I think that Lamise is in the chat. If you can just say hi, Lamise. Lamise is the one who I connect with at Stellenbosch University. She's an educational psychologist, and she helped me to understand the dynamics of these students and also to just get an understanding of how it is that I can use what I do, my movement wellness, to assist these students. Lamise, if you want to say hi. Putting you on the spot there. Okay.
Hi, Simone. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I was chatting while you asked me to say hello. But hi, everyone. Good to see you again or hear you, Simone.
Yes. Thank you for joining, Lamise. And Yeah, thank you for also advocating for the program. And we are also going to be working together this year, I do believe, and with some other universities. But please go and watch that video. You can get an insight as to what the students experience. So why we are here, why I had this Zoom connect with you, is to discuss how we implement this Dance for Confidence program. So to give you an idea, it's a 4-session program. We have now adapted it from a 7-session to a 4-session program. And it aims to enhance the self-esteem, to build a positive self-image, and to help you to develop a clearer sense of your ideal self, your future self. And as you can see, this speaks directly to the research that I have done over the years, and I haven't found a difference, a different approach over the years, because I feel like this has actually worked in so many different spaces. All of that experience that I shared with you earlier, from grade 4s to corporate and students and everyone in between, all of these issues is what all of us face somehow in our lives. And I feel that the Dance for Confidence program helps people to understand their self-esteem, understand your self-image, and also develop your clear ideal self. So last year, we also had a Dance for Confidence program, which we hosted to the public. And we had the space open for anybody who wanted to come and explore dance for themselves and to also build their self-esteem and to improve their confidence. And here we had a range of people. We had a range of ages, and we had a range of people who came for different reasons. And so I found this very interesting because we left it open and we didn't target a specific group. People came for reasons of, I want to feel more confident when I dance at events or in public, or I want to feel more confident when I present to my corporate team. I want to feel more confident to go up to people and introduce myself. And these were it was so specific, but it showed that the Dance for Confidence program can work for all, issues or all concerns that you might have or all things that you want to explore. So let me just give you an idea of practically how this might work. So let's say you enter the dance space with me and I start teaching choreography. So when you learn choreography, there's a lot of things that you have to process. It requires a lot of conscious effort. You have to problem solve, there's creativity, you have to add your own flavor to it. And then also there's a lot of memory involved. And you have to really be thinking about, okay, what did I just learn? Where was she going with this? And because of all of those processes that happen, that's kind of all linked to the issues of self-esteem and your confidence. So all of those things require you to use different psychological processes, and then this helps you to identify where you could work on things of your self-esteem and confidence. So this basically just explains what I just explained about what the Dance for Confidence program is and how we use research in these sessions. Oh, also with this program, participants get a prompted journal. They are able to reflect on what they experience in these sessions verbally, or they're able to write it down after every session. And this helps you to understand exactly where you stand and how you could progress in yourself. Oh, I learned that I didn't actually have that much trouble dancing in front of a group. It was only because it was that other group that I had a problem with. Oh, I might realize that, oh, I'm only stopped dancing because someone once told me that, what are you doing that doesn't look like dance? And that person probably wasn't important in my life. These are the things that you might experience when you are prompted to reflect on your session. So how does this work in terms of practical? So they start by completing a form, which Max is going to drop into the chat. And this form is basically just a booking form. You're just going to say, okay, this is what I'm interested in, either workshop or the Dance for Confidence program. I'd like to learn more about this. And these are the dates that I'm thinking about having it. Maybe you have a wellness event happening at your work, or maybe there's a downtime you'd like to explore this program for yourself. And maybe you want to start with just a dance workshop and then see how it works in your space and in your institution. So you just fill out this form, and then we can set up a consultation. And in this consultation, we talk about what it is that you need. Maybe you have a lot of conflict happening in your space and you kind of want something that will help people to bond again. Or maybe you feel that everyone is just isolated and you feel like you need to connect everybody as a group again. Those are the kind of things that you would inform me on so that I can adapt the sessions for your specific need and to make sure that we all get our requirements sort of fulfilled, you know. And then from there we move together, and that's kind of how simple it is. So just to quickly give you an idea of what else we are doing with GODANCE, this Move with GODANCE is a new program that we are going to be launching on the 4th of March. It is a wellness video series which is aimed at providing content which is on dance, fitness, and movement routines, which are simple and easy to follow. And that will be available online, and people can access that at any time. So please just stay tuned on our socials. We will be posting about this all over there. This is just a sidebar as to what we have coming up. And this, of course, would be nice because not everybody wants to always be in a group, or maybe you don't have enough time. These are going to be like 5 to 10 minute videos that you can watch and learn from at any time that you like. Okay, so I now want to open up the floor and ask if there are any questions. As this is still Zoom entry level, I have about 6 minutes left. So I'm opening up the floor for anybody to ask any questions and let me know what it is that you're thinking, whether you have questions or comments, or want to also then advocate as Lamise did for our program if you have been a part of it. Otherwise, there is my contact details. So I'm just going to open up the floor for any questions. Also, bear in mind, this is recorded, so you might have a question that someone else can benefit from who will be joining this later on.
I don't have any questions. I just want to say, keep going. And I'll definitely be in touch about some movement wellness workshops. I like that. MWW, movement wellness workshops. MW squared. Yeah, so I'll be in touch about that. But great work. I think it's important work, and I think it's often undervalued. Well, one question I do have is GODANCE, is it set up as a for-profit or a non-profit entity?
It's set up as a PTY Ltd company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just asking because there's also possibly funding or partnering with other organizations that work in the space, but the ones that I'm aware of are non-profits, but that's not necessarily a limitation, but it's just to know how to approach the conversation with them. Yeah.
Yeah, there was also a debate, which I think we could have offline, about which direction to have taken the company. But this is the way I kind of went for it for now, because I feel like a lot of corporates actually and institutions like universities actually do appreciate the PTYs more than the non-profits establishment wise. Yeah. But yeah, thanks, Ole. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
Indeed. I need to jump off, but thank you so much. This was very informative.
Thank you.
I've got all the videos and let me just make sure I downloaded all of them actually, just to be sure.
Yeah, well, you can also join the Linktree account, and ask Max to also share that. But I think I have shared it with you. Then you can just check out all of our things we have coming up there. Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool. Okay, thanks,
Thank
Oli.
you. Cheers, everyone.
All right. do you have any other questions or something that might assist others in this process, maybe?
Simone, maybe I can just
Yes.
add from just the university space, that a lot of the sessions, people often wonder, about the timelines, of when it would be the most conducive time to have a session like yours. And I know in the space at the university, it's quite pressurized, especially in the daytime. But maybe you can also just share your availability more towards the evening or late afternoon, because I just find that you don't want to interfere with student schedules, especially, knowing the demands at being at the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, and especially if students leave for training. And that might happen in another institution as well, where students will go off-site and they might not necessarily be on campus. And then they come back only in the afternoon. So maybe you can also share how it worked and maybe your availability around the times.
Yeah, thank you, Lamise, for that. I remember with our discussion as well, it was trying to find the best time for everyone involved. I think I can use the example of the Stellenbosch University students. We looked at I think it was about 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. We did a Friday evenings, and that worked quite well for students, especially I think those who were on campus, who could attend, who live on campus specifically. And we had quite a good turnout, I think, for all the sessions, especially the one we just did last year. My time is running out, so if I do speak over, please do contact me on simone.momplay@godance.co.za or on our socials. But yeah, I think the time is definitely something we can discuss all together and see what is the best way to move forward. And obviously not during exam times, preferably maybe before, like a few weeks before they actually start the exams, maybe before the study period is also a good time to help with that catharsis as well. And then for corporate, I think it also depends on what they have in terms of their spaces offering movement wellness or wellness days. I think that's the best time to do it at corporate as well. But the evenings I find really good for students specifically. So yeah, the further discussion we can take up offline, but thank you everybody for joining, and thank you for all those who